Hi, Davir, and today we have a new episode in the Art Review series. And today we'll be checking out the work of Kei Urana. So she's a mangaka artist or a manga artist, and she's part of the weekly shonen magazine thing in Japan. I think she's famous. And the reason why I'm reviewing her work is because I actually did not find her by accident. She's a requested artist based on my comments. I do see her name frequently sort of mentioned in the comment section, so we're gonna be doing a review of their work. So definitely anime style, given that they are a manga artist. But I've noticed for all of their shots here, like the way they draw the expressions, um, it seems pretty intense or highly exaggerated. Even the way their perspectives are done, it's almost like they have a skewed sort of perspective. It's almost like a fisheye sometimes, and it does make your shots a lot more dynamic, kind of like this one, right? You're seeing it from this like closed up kind of view. Um, I do like it. Just based on the drawing itself, I do know obviously they have to like ink it, and then for the covers they do have to paint it. But I think the base or the thing that really sort of makes them or makes their work sort of stand out. I think it's the base drawing. There's just something, even the way they do their hair. I think it almost looks like a coral reef, right? It's a very unique style of illustrating here. And in the tips, you'll notice she has a habit of sort of darkening the tips, which is cool. I don't think it's for all characters, but I do see that sort of approach often. And just based on these shots, I think they're done traditionally. So that's pretty cool. I'm trying to look at their line weight. Because for each character, I can tell they're boldening the outlines. Let me just show this right here. This character right here has a bold outline over them. Same thing here. It's slightly thicker than the lines inside. But also the way they do shadows. The shadows feel more brushy, meaning the edges have the sort of fade out effect whenever you see the shadow parts. But outside of those or outside of these parts, the lines over here, they tend to be a little more technical. And they're almost free from hatching. There is some hatching, but a huge chunk of the piece is just left kind of like this, you know? Like there's gonna be some parts where it's just this brushy sort of black fill-in. I say brushy because the edges that have that brushy effect, and then some areas have this sort of hatching technique, and then everything else is sort of like this, where it's just the contour line. Reminds me a little bit of Mika Muse when it comes to the variety of like line work. Again, the shot itself, pretty dynamic. The hair, look at how the ends have that sort of darker tip. To me, I just think coral reef, just because it's the image or the thing that makes sense to me. So we have a pencil sketch here, and yeah, they're just very playful, not just with the face, but with the anatomy too, with the whole figure. And I think it's such a unique sort of blend, right? You know, I don't really read manga. I just like the artwork that comes from it. Um, so I may be missing out on like a lot of narrative storytelling here, but just based on like single shots, um, I can see why people like their work. Look at the ink work on this one. The hatching is a bit different too. It's not like it's like slowly done. It's almost like one of those abstract pieces. Interesting. And again, that bold line work around the hair, and the eyes, so they're kind of attractive. Crazy looking, but interesting. Look at the lips. She did not draw the contour of the lips. She drew like the shadows inside the mouth. Interesting. Does she do that for other pieces? I'm not sure. Damn. So here we have a bunch of pencil sketches. Nice feet. Thumbs up. Even their pencil sketches are kind of clean. Oh, reminds me a little bit of Okinawa Nogori at Okinawa Nogori on Twitter or X. Like they do a lot of these pencil sketches too, or ink sketches. In this case, pencil for Kai or K Urana. But it's so heavy on the contours. I don't see a lot of fill-ins. Aside from the contours, they have a lot of like hatching to complement that. Looks really good. And I think even in the inks, once they like ink their like sketches or their pencils, it still has a very organic vibe to it. Or gestural vibe. Like it's not so sharp looking. I think of a comic artist like I did an art review of this guy recently, Sean Murphy. Very sort of straight shapes or straight edges. Kai or K Oran is kind of different. Lots of more curvy stuff happening here. More organic. Again with the hair, spiky. It sort of tapers to a darker point. Oh, is that it? Pretty cool. Yes, I do like the work. I wish they had more. Obviously, they have like a manga to work with or to work on. Let me just zoom in on this one. You know, I've seen a lot of artists showcase or draw shoes. I do know why, because it's so like you can play around with the shoe design a lot, and it actually adds a little bit to the character design, right? And it's not like when you get the shoe wrong, people don't really notice it as much. So you get to be a bit more creative. It's like a break, like when you're struggling with like the actual figure, spending time on the clothes. In this case, the shoes. It's a great way to sort of take a break, but at the same time you're working on a design aspect of your like character, right? Again, the way let me just try this. The way they do some of their hatching, it's like this part over here. It's not like a fast line. It's like very slowly done. I remember doing these exercises back in like middle school or kinder, right? Because I'm sure you've seen abstract art where they do these kinds of like lines, right? But they're slowly done. You don't see the speed of the line. It's very like one consistent line after another. It's a very I would not I don't I did not I did fuck I did not expect, or I would not have expected someone to do this kind of hatching and apply it into their own work, right? Like it's slowly done, like it's carefully done. Oh, I love the hands here, the contours. Look at that. Oh, nice tongue. Um, and the shoes, I like it. Pretty cool. Oh shit! I forgot to like flip to the other image. Damn, I like seeing stuff like this, pencil sketches, because it shows you what people have to do, what artists who are incredible have to do, sort of behind the scenes. And just seeing stuff like this, it's very motivating. And it makes you want to draw more, sketch more. Even this like quick hand thing over here, it's a quick study of how it's looking if you do this. All of these little things, they add up eventually. And you can tell in the work, like it shows off in the work of Kai or K Urana. I'm not sure if they color their own covers, maybe. I don't even know. But I think this is their manga, Gachi Akuta. Best manga ever. Yeah, okay, so it is a manga. Interesting. A very dynamic anatomy, style. Oh, this one it's interesting. I do see some cross hatching in the insides of the hood of their jacket. This one's pretty cool too. Again with expressions, very exaggerated. Like there's no denying what they're feeling at the moment, right? Oh, again with the cross hatching. Look at how they showed the nose here. Instead of drawing the contours of the nose, they just shaded the darker part where it's in shadow, but they used the hatching sort of technique to do that. So you don't always, whenever you're doing like ink work, you don't always have to draw the contours. You can just use some hatching to demonstrate the value. It is tricky knowing when to do it and when not to do it, but I mean, look at this. Even in this single shot, the storytelling is great. You can tell this guy is somewhat defeated. Maybe dead at this point, who knows? Yeah, it's very rich. Like they spend time doing the inks and they don't mind. For example, for this roof thing over here, maybe it's like a hat or something, who knows? Like all these little hatching lines. Like you don't really notice that in like the first glance. You kind of have to zoom in and really like look up close to see what's happening. But yeah, I do like seeing close-ups of any character because it just shows you a little bit of like their humanity a bit. It makes them look more real because if you're always sort of zoomed out, like full figure, you're kind of detached sometimes. Like you don't get to see them. Or in a way, it's like a visual representation that you're seeing them from afar. So you don't really develop that closeness. But when you have shots like this, like it's almost like, because the only people you tend to see this sort of view on or with is with people whom you are close to. Fuck. So seeing close-up shots is just really cool. And it's obviously very common in like storytelling, comics, manga. But yeah. Yep. And what's going on here? Oh wow, very sensual. For me anyway. This one seems like it was done digitally. But yeah. So that's it for this art. Oh, the shading here is a bit different. I do see some halftones for the shadow parts. And then lots of black fill-ins. So maybe this is how it looks in the end. Because for the vast majority of the images we've seen, they're mostly sort of done in pencil or they're in the pencil stage. So maybe this is how it actually looks like. You tell me, for those of you who've read their work. Like each shot or each frame in this manga could be its own artwork. It takes a lot of effort, but I think it's worth it when you see it all in one go. So that's the first art for fuck. So that's the first art review of Kai or Urana. And yeah, I'll see you in the next art review. Is this? It reminds me of that Demon Slayer chick, the one with the pink hair, just because of the way the braids were done. And again, the attaching. Look at the underneath or the insides of that collar. It's that sort of very slow, abstract kind of hatching style. Yeah, I think Mikamuse is another artist who likes to vary up their line work or hatching style. So I do recommend their work as well. This one seems freaky. Looks like some kind of fish. Or a cat? I'm not even sure. But I don't know, like crazy characters seem to be very appealing for some reason. I don't know. Or maybe I'm just like, I was gonna say something, but oh, it reminds me also a little bit of the, who's that artist we reviewed? Not just Nips, NIPS, her too, but also Pixmilk, Pixmilk, maybe. Just because of the way the contours are done, that like you can tell by the anatomy, like how they draw the edges of their human forms. It has that very organic vibe. You know, like they like showing off. Let me just show you. Like they will really emphasize the edge of the elbow, the bicep. You know, they'll just add a little bit of like extra curves here and there, and exaggerate some of those edges. Like even this part right here. You know, this forearm kind of muscle. And the way they do their hands, it's a bit different from typical anime. They do like Urana likes to add those knuckles. Like they're a lot more blocky compared to other manga artists. because I've noticed for other artists, they're like the anime realm. The hands tend to be like a little more like thin, smooth. You know what I mean? But I do see more knuckles in their hands. It reminds me of the Disney film. I think it's Disney. Atlantis. Like the way they did the hands, it's very sort of blocky, square-ish to an extent. Yeah. So that's it for this art review of Kai or K Urana. And yeah, I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.